The stranger and the blanket. The wind howled like a beast in pain. Snow blew across the dark sky, covering everything in white. On the edge of the human outpost on planet Epsilon 3, a man stood alone, staring at the cold night. His name was Jack. Carter, a soldier, tired of war. He had been posted here for 3 long years. No family, no friends. Just silence, snow, and orders. Every night, he walked outside the metal walls of the base, not because he had to, but because he couldn't. Sleep. That night felt different. His boots crunched in the snow. The air was sharp and icy. Then, he saw something. A shape, small, still, lying face down in the snow. At first, Jack thought it was just a piece of equipment. But as he got closer, his heart stopped. It was a girl, not human. Her skin was light blue, her hair silver like moonlight. She was wearing torn clothes, and glowing scars ran across her arms and neck. Her lips were purple from cold. She wasn't moving. Jack looked around. No ships, no tracks, no signal, just her, alone in the snow. He knelt beside her. "Hey, can you hear me?" No answer. She was barely breathing. Jack hesitated. The war between humans and aliens had taken many lives. His own unit had fought these creatures before. But this one, she didn't look like a soldier. She looked like a scared, broken thing. He pulled off his blanket, his only one, and gently wrapped it around her. Her body shivered and curled slightly, like a small animal finally feeling warmth. Jack picked her up and walked back to the shelter. Inside his small metal room, he placed her on the bunk. The heater buzzed. The lights flickered. Jack removed his gloves and touched her wrist. Her pulse was weak, but there. He placed a heat pack near her chest and waited. Minutes passed. Her fingers twitched. Then her eyes opened silver, glowing like stars. She stared at him. Jack stepped back. "You're awake." Her lips moved. A whisper came out. "Why?" Jack blinked. "Why what?" Her voice was broken, rough, like she hadn't spoken in years. "Why help? Me?" Jack swallowed. "Because you were dying." She looked at the blanket wrapped around her. Her fingers touched the edge. Then something strange happened. Her body glowed faintly, just for a moment. Jack saw it and froze. The girl looked confused too. She stared at the blanket like it was something precious. "This fabric, it's familiar," Jack frowned. "What do you mean?" She didn't answer. Her body trembled again. Her eyes rolled back and she passed out. Jack sat beside her, confused and alert. Who was this girl? What had made her glow? How did she speak English? Why did she say the blanket was familiar? Too many questions. No answers. He opened a drawer and took out a small scanner. Carefully, he scanned her body. The result made his blood run cold. Unknown species. Genetic markers. Class X. Biosignal. Unstable. Threat level. High. Class X. That was top-level clearance. Even Jack hadn't heard much about it. Only rumors. Secret experiments. Forbidden tech. Things buried deep in the files of the war. He looked at her sleeping face. She didn't look like a threat. She looked like someone running from something worse. Outside, the storm grew louder. Jack stood up, locked the door, and sat down with his rifle beside him. Whatever was coming for her, he would face it. Because, deep in his heart, he felt it. This girl wasn't here by accident. She had a reason. And the blanket he gave her might change everything. The secret of the scars. The storm had passed, but silence stayed. Inside the small outpost shelter, Jack Carter watched the alien girl sleep. Her breathing was slow, like ocean waves. Her silver hair lay across the human blanket he had given her. He hadn't slept all night. Something about her haunted him. Not just the way she had appeared out of nowhere. Not just the strange glow. But the way she looked at the blanket like it held pieces of her broken past. Suddenly, she stirred. Her eyes opened, slow but sharp. She sat up quickly and scanned. the room like a cornered animal. Her hands glowed faintly. Jack raised his palms. Easy, you're safe. She didn't believe him. Her voice was dry. Where am I? Outpost 17, Epsilon 3. I'm Jack. You nearly froze to death. She looked down at the blanket again. You gave me this. He nodded. Yeah. She stared at it, then touched her wrist where the scars were. They hurt less. Jack frowned. Scars? She pulled her sleeve up. Her arm was marked with glowing lines, thin, sharp, like someone had burned symbols into her skin. They weren't just scars. They moved like they were alive. Jack stepped closer. What are they? She looked at him, unsure. You really don't know? Jack shook his head. I saved you. That's all I know. She stood, weak but alert. No human saves one of us. You kill us, you take pieces. Test us, burn us. Jack's voice was low. I don't. She turned her back to him. My name is Soraka. He blinked. You remember? She nodded. And I remember the place where these scars were made. She pointed to the blanket. This cloth. It came from there. Jack stared at her. That blanket? It's just military issue. No, Soraka whispered. Not just. This cloth was used in the labs, the same place I was kept. It has the same threads, the same cold touch. She walked to the corner and sat, hugging her knees. I escaped months ago. I don't know how long I ran, but I know that scent. That fabric, that fear. Jack's chest tightened. He remembered something, a report, buried in old files. A project called Ember Secret, off record, dealing with alien genetics. They said. It ended, but maybe it didn't. Soraka, he said softly. Do you remember anything else? Where the lab was? What they did to you? She hesitated. They made us forget. She touched her temple. They put fire in our minds. When we resisted, they burned these into us. The scars were meant to control. Jack sat across from her. Can I scan them? She looked at him carefully. Then nodded. He lifted his device and slowly scanned her arm. Data error. Restricted access. Unauthorized file. EMBR 117. Jack's heart sank. Ember. It was real. You were a test subject, he said. But I'm not one of them, I swear. Soraka met his eyes. You carry their gear, their tools, even their blanket. But you. Speak with pain, not power. The room grew quiet again. Soraka stood and walked slowly to the heater. Her hands hovered above it, glowing. The heat grew stronger. You control energy? Jack asked. Not control, she said. I borrow it. Trade pain for fire. That's what they wanted from us. Jack stared at the moving scars on her arm. How many of you escaped? She looked down. I was the only one still breathing. Outside, snow began to fall again. Inside, two enemies sat, no longer strangers. Not yet friends. Jack knew his command would come soon. Scanners would detect Soraka's presence. They would ask questions, demand answers. Maybe even send drones. He had made a silent choice. He wouldn't give her up. This wasn't just about saving her anymore. This was about stopping something dark. Soraka looked at him again. Why are you still here? Jack gave a tired smile. Because your scars. They look like mine. Enemies at the door. The alarm didn't scream. It whispered. A soft red light blinked in the corner of Jack's shelter, like a heartbeat. Slow, steady, dangerous. Unidentified life form detected. Sector 9. Jack's heart dropped. They knew. Across the room, Soraka was asleep, wrapped in the same blanket. Her glowing scars had dimmed, her breathing calm. For the first time since she arrived, she looked at peace. Jack didn't wake her. Instead, he moved fast. Years of training kicked in. He turned off the scanner, disconnected the heat panel, and pulled open the floor hatch. Beneath it, a narrow Crawl space led to the old mining tunnels, abandoned, forgotten, hidden. He reached for his comms. It crackled before he could speak. Command to Outpost 17. Lifeform signature detected. Proceed with containment protocol. Do not engage until recon arrives. They were coming. He shut off the signal. A cold wind pushed through the cracked doorframe. Soraka opened her eyes. Her body stiffened. They found me, she said. Jack nodded. I won't let them take you. She looked at him like she didn't believe it. You don't even know what I am. I don't care. Footsteps, crunching outside. Jack peeked through the slit in the metal wall. 2 soldiers in black armor. Recon scouts, fast, silent, not. From his unit. These were private, off-record. Ember agents. They weren't here to talk. They were here to clean. Jack turned to Soraka. We go now. She shook her head. If I go, they'll follow and kill you. I'll take that chance. No, she said, standing slowly. I'll make them see. Before Jack could stop her, Soraka stepped outside the shelter barefoot in the snow, blue skin glowing. Under the night sky, the soldiers saw her and raised their rifles. On the ground. Hands behind her scars lit up. The snow under her feet melted. Her voice echoed not loud, but deep, like it came from inside the earth. I am not your weapon, the first soldier fired. The bullet stopped mid-air. It hovered in front of her chest, then dropped to the ground smoking. Jack ran out and stood beside her. She's not a threat. The second soldier aimed at him. Jack Carter, you are ordered to stand down. Jack aimed back. Not this time. A burst of light exploded between them, blinding. When it faded, both soldiers were frozen. Not dead, but stiff like statues wrapped in a thin layer of ice. Soraka fell to her knees, breathing hard. That was all I had left. Jack caught her before she hit the ground. He didn't wait. He grabbed his pack, pulled the blanket around her shoulders, and opened the hatch. Down into the dark tunnels they went, just in time. Overhead, the sky roared as dropships arrived. Dozens of them. Too many to fight. As they climbed deeper into the cold, silent dark, Jack whispered, We're running out of time. Soraka, weak but awake, replied softly, No. We're running into the truth. The truth about Project Ember. He hadn't cried since the war began. But when Jack Carter lit the flame and watched his old military badge melt, a tear escaped. His eye. It was the only thing he had left from Earth, from who he used to be. Now, it was gone, like the lies he had once believed. They were deep in the tunnels now. No sunlight, no signal. Just the low hum of old mining machines and the distant drip of water. Araka sat on a crate, her skin pale, her scars dim. The blanket still wrapped around her. Jack had found an abandoned bunker left behind years ago when the human miners fled this frozen planet. No one would find them here, not yet. Tell me, he said. All of it. Soraka looked up. Her voice was a whisper. You won't like it. Try me. She reached into the pocket of the uniform Jack had given her, pulled out a small metal disc, round, scratched, with a strange mark carved into it. She placed it on the table, tapped it once. A blue light rose from the center, a hologram spinning slowly. It showed images. Broken cages, bodies, burning data screens. And then a symbol, a red ember inside a circle. Jack stared. I've seen that, he whispered. Soraka nodded. It's your people's project. They called it Ember, a secret lab. They didn't want soldiers, they wanted weapons. So they made us. Jack's hands clenched into fists. I heard whispers, he said. Back in training. People disappearing. Tech officers going dark. They said it was just rebel work. No, she said. It was human work, the blanket. This one you gave me was issued to the handlers, those who watched us, trained us, hurt us. Jack looked away. I didn't know, but now you do. Silence fell. Soraka tapped the disc again. A second image appeared. A group photo, blurry but clear enough. Men in lab coats. Women with tablets. One man at the center, tall, dark hair, holding the same red ember badge. Jack's breath caught. Wait. Zoom in. The image sharpened. His voice dropped. That's my brother. He stepped back, shaking. No, that can't be. He died. Years ago. Soraka's voice was cold. He didn't die. He worked on me. The room spun. Jack felt like the ground had disappeared under his feet. I don't understand. He gave me a name, Soraka said. He said it would make me feel human. That's why I remember it. Jack collapsed onto a crate. His brother, his hero, the one he had looked up to his whole life, was part of this nightmare. Why hadn't he known, or had he chosen not to? Jack stood slowly. If he's alive, I'll find him. I'll get answers. Soraka didn't reply. She looked at him with quiet sadness. There's more, she said. She opened her palm. A glowing stone sat in her hand, small but pulsing. This was implanted in me. They called it a memory seed. It's how I survived, but now it's fading. What happens when it dies? Jack asked. I forget everything, even you. Jack's chest tightened. Then we don't wait. We move. He picked up the disc, slipped it into his coat. Above them, machines moved. Soldiers searched. The hunt continued. But now, Jack and Soraka had something more powerful than escape. They had a reason and a name. Project Ember was no longer a secret. The escape across ice, the tunnel ended in silence. Beyond it, nothing but white. A frozen plain stretched for miles, smooth and endless like a sheet of glass. The ice shimmered under the twin moons. No cover, no shelter. Just cold and wind and danger. Jack Carter stared at it with clenched fists. If we cross this, we disappear. Behind them, the world burned. Drones searched the caves. Command wanted Soraka back. Dead or alive, ahead of them was death. But behind them was worse. Soraka stepped beside him, weak but steady. Her glowing scars flickered softly beneath the blanket. She looked at the endless ice like it was an old memory. I've seen this place before, she said. In a vision, or maybe a dream. They called it the memory skin. Beneath it lies the truth. Jack raised a brow. You saying something's under there? Soraka didn't answer. Instead, she took off her boots and placed her bare feet on the ice. Jack stepped forward in panic. What are you doing? You'll freeze, but the ice didn't hurt her. It responded. Light pulsed beneath her skin. Her scars glowed brighter. The ground under her feet cracked slightly, revealing a symbol. A circle, and inside it, the same red ember. Jack's heart sank. Even this place belongs to them. Suddenly the wind screamed. A drone burst through the sky, scanning with red light. They dropped. Jack pulled out his rifle. Soraka crouched low, her body glowing, breath fast. She couldn't fight again, not after what she did to freeze the soldiers, but Jack was ready. The drone fired. He rolled, took a shot. Boom, hit the wing. Sparks flew. The drone crashed into the ice and slid, burning. Soraka looked at him, surprised. You're not just a soldier, she said. Jack smirked. No, I'm a big brother, and I know how to protect what matters. They ran across the plains, boots and bare feet leaving trails on the ice. Jack carried the blanket over his shoulder, wrapped tight with supplies. Soraka moved like the wind, guided her. Each mile felt longer than the last, but something changed. As they moved, Soraka's steps grew lighter. Her skin shimmered. She began to hum a sound soft and strange. Jack looked back. The ice behind them was healing itself, like it wanted to protect them. They reached a ridge half covered in snow. Below it, buried beneath layers of frost, sat an old structure. Round, black, silent. Alien. Ser, aka, fell to her knees, trembling. This is it. This is where I was born, Jack stared. What is this place? A vault, she said, made by my kind. Long before Ember found it, they came here and woke us up. He helped her inside. The door opened with a pulse of light responding to her scars. The room inside was round, walls smooth, lights blinking, and in the center, a throne-like seat. Filled with vines, roots, and crystal, Soraka sat. Her body glowed. The blanket slid from her shoulders. I remember now, she whispered. I wasn't made. I was awakened. And they took that power and twisted it. She touched the floor. A projection filled the room. Dozens of girls like her locked in. Cells, scientists walking past them. One man in the center. The same man from the hologram. Jack's brother. Alive. Jack stepped back. His voice cracked. He's here? No, Soraka said softly. But he left something behind. A code. A message. She touched the light. The projection zoomed in. One word glowed in red. Omega. Jack frowned. What does that mean? Soraka looked at him with tears in her eyes. It means they were just getting started. Outside, more drones moved. Inside, a bond grew stronger. Jack wrapped the blanket around Soraka once more. This time, not to warm her body but her heart. You're not a weapon, he whispered. She looked at him gently. And you're not just a soldier. The last shelter before humans, before the war, before memory, there was a room made of stars. Soraka stood in it now, not in body, but in mind. The alien vault had opened her scars like keys. The crystal throne she sat on had unlocked more than doors. It had unlocked her. Around her, thousands of lights floated like fireflies. Each one, a memory. Some hers, some not. She saw her own face laughing, crying, screaming. But in the background of those memories, always watching, was him, Jack's brother. Outside the vault, Jack paced. He had been waiting hours. The ice was settling. No drones yet. But that meant nothing. Ember always came quietly. He stared at the thick metal door. I swear, he muttered, if they hurt you again, I'll burn every file with that Ember logo on it. Suddenly, the door creaked open. Jack stepped back. Soraka walked out, but not like before. She stood taller. Her scars no longer glowed with pain, but with power. Her voice was calm. I remember everything now. Jack's eyes searched hers. Who are you? She looked up at the stars shining through the broken ceiling. My kind called me Karina. It means the last light. I was one of the few born in stasis, sleeping beneath the ice until humans found us. Until your brother woke me. Jack stepped closer. Did he hurt you? She paused. No, he saved me. Silence. Jack looked confused. But she said he was one of them. He was, she said. But he changed. He saw what the others were doing, cutting us open, draining our energy, erasing our minds. He wanted to stop them. He gave me my name. He gave me a way out. She opened her hand and showed Jack the crystal again, the memory seed. He hid this inside me, so I wouldn't forget who I am. So one day, I could come back here. Jack swallowed hard. My brother's alive, he said. Yes, she replied. But he's no longer with Ember. He's running, like us. The shelter rumbled. Lights flickered. Jack grabbed his rifle. What was that? Soraka looked at the crystal. The vault sent out a signal. To all memory holders. Others like me. You called them. No, she said. I woke them. Suddenly, the wall behind them cracked. Jack pulled Soraka back as frost spilled in like smoke. A figure stepped into the light. Not human. Not Ember. Alien. Tall, silver-eyed, skin like stone. It knelt in front of Soraka. Karina, it said. We heard the light return. Soraka trembled. I thought I was the last. You were, the alien replied. Until now. Jack lowered his weapon. "Friends of yours?" he asked. Soraka smiled faintly. "Family, lost to time. Buried in ice, but now ... they rise." The alien looked at Jack. "You carry her flame," it said. "Are you her protector?" Jack hesitated, then nodded. "I am." The alien offered Jack a small object, a data core with a message sealed inside. He opened it. A voice crackled through. "Jack, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry. I tried to stop them, but Ember is bigger than we thought. They're not just building weapons. They're building gods. Project Omega has begun. And they're coming for her." Jack's hands shook. Soraka looked at him, voice soft. "That was your brother." Jack's eyes burned. "We find him. We stop this. Together." She nodded. Then, without a word, she took his hand for the first time, not out of fear or weakness, but strength. The blanket that changed everything. It began with warmth. Not fire. Not power. Not war. Just warmth. From a blanket. A simple human blanket offered on a cold night. That single act had changed the fate of two worlds. Now, that same blanket was folded carefully in Soraka's hands as the sky above them burned. The stars were not shining, they were falling. Drones, dropships, Ember's final fleet. Coming down. Like black rain. Jack and Soraka stood on a frozen cliff, the ancient alien vault glowing behind them. Around them stood Soraka's awakened kin, silent, glowing, ready. Jack's cum crackled. To Jack Carter. "This is Commander Rains, you are ordered to stand down. Turn over the subject or be erased." Jack smiled bitterly. "Still polite," he said. Even at the end, Soraka didn't smile. Her eyes watched the sky. "They're afraid," she said softly. Jack raised a brow. "Of what?" She looked at the blanket in her hands. "Of this." Inside the vault, Soraka had discovered what the Ember scientists never could. The blanket wasn't just a blanket. The threads were lined with memory-responsive particles, meant for tracking, meant for control. But when she touched it the first time, something changed. Her energy had rewritten it. It had become more than cloth. It had become a key. And now, as she wrapped it once again around her shoulders, the symbols on her skin began to glow. Not with pain. With freedom. Jack stood beside her, rifle ready. "If this goes wrong," he said, "I just want you to know, I'm glad I met you." Soraka looked at him. "You didn't meet me," she whispered. "You saved me." The sky cracked open. Ships descended. Lights flared. The ground shook. And then she stepped forward. Alone. Wrapped in a blanket. The lead ship hovered above. A massive machine with claws, cannons, and scanners that could peel atoms. A voice echoed from it. "This is your final warning, Subject Karina. Surrender." Soraka looked up. "No." She raised her arms. The blanket around her burst with light blue and silver. A wave of energy surged out, pushing snow into the air. Time slowed. The air trembled, and the vault behind her answered. Its walls opened like petals. Crystals lit up. Ancient alien tech hummed. A pulse blasted through the air. Drones froze. Ships lost power. Ember's fleet stopped mid-air. Jack watched, breathless. She wasn't destroying them. She was showing them something. Their own tech. Their own power. But used for healing, not harm. In the center of the chaos, Soraka stood calm, glowing, wrapped in the human gift that had reminded her what it meant to be seen. Not as a weapon, but as a person. Then a final signal crackled in Jack's earpiece. "Jack, this is Liam." Jack froze. "I'm alive, watching this from a hidden node. I've seen what she can do." "You were right. They were wrong." "I'm sorry I lied. If she still remembers me, tell her I tried." Jack looked at Soraka. She nodded gently. "I know," she said. "And I forgive him." The battle never happened. Ember's fleet powered down. The world didn't burn, because someone chose not to strike first, because a soldier gave a girl a blanket instead of a bullet, because kindness was more powerful than any weapon. Later, they stood at the edge of the ridge once more. The ice stretched, quiet beneath their feet. The war was over, but the journey was not. Jack looked at Soraka. What now? She smiled softly. We rebuild, we remember, and maybe we rest. She took the blanket from her shoulders and placed it over his. It's yours now, she said. It always was. Jack pulled it tight around both of them. And for the first time since the war began, they watched the stars return.